If you're curious to know why the Tennessee Titans have all of a sudden started winning some games with Ryan Tannehill, this play is going to show you why, basically. It's a cover one blitz, so it's man coverage across the board. And for Tennessee, actually, the route that they're going to want to throw to will be the fullback's route right over there, because it's going to be play action, so they hope they'll have time to hit him, and it could potentially get open. That's where Tannehill is going to look. However, after the ball is snapped, if you notice, there's no separation right here. Ideally, you would want the fullback to be further deep than the Oakland Raider who's in charge of covering him. That has not happened. So at this point, what would Marcus Mariota do? He would throw the ball away or maybe take a sack. He has a problem with that. But a lot of guys would just throw the ball away in this situation. But not Tannehill. He fires one there anyways, ends up making a perfect throw, and they're able to get the completion just like that. It's that kind of confidence that can mean everything in a football team. Typically, when you hear they're playing with more confidence, that kind of sounds like it's just a buzzword. It's just generalities to talk about because you don't really know what's going on. And in fairness, a lot of times that is the case when people say something like that. But with this Tennessee Titans team, they're actually playing with more confidence, and it's showing. More specifically, their quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, is totally willing to fire the ball into these tight windows, and that's just making things work out so much better because they actually do have a pretty good football team, and now that the quarterback isn't afraid to take some chances, it's really working out. And honestly, in today's NFL, when the rules are so tilted towards offenses, a quarterback should be a little bit more aggressive than maybe in past years when you should play a little bit more conservative. Like this play is another example of it, where it's going to be play action. They're backed up inside their own 10 right now, and there is a deep route right there, which could potentially get open. The idea is that Oakland is prepared for a run since this is a typical running situation, so maybe you could get a one-on-one matchup, and if you do, fire one there and just see what happens. And the play downfield is going to work out perfectly. The safeties do bite onto play action. Now there's a receiver who's going to get wide open. He's past the safety who is deep, so this now means that it's should be a great situation. He's past everybody. He's behind the defense, which is what you love to see. But of course, the problem is, since Oakland was expecting a run, they have a lot of guys who are rushing the passer right now that it's a pass. Like right over there, you see Tannehill's in trouble. The last thing you want is a safety or for someone to hit the ball out as you're throwing and result in a touchdown even. So a lot of guys would just sort of fall forward, fall at the 1 yard line, and at least it's not a safety. But again, Tannehill has confidence and he's going to take a chance. He fires one deep and it's able to be complete, and then his receiver does the rest of the work and they're able to get a touchdown out of it. Sometimes it's that simple. Just let your great players make great plays, and that's what happened right there with A.J. Brown making a huge gain. I do think that Tannehill has sort of found new life here in Tennessee with a good football team around him, and it's kind of just working out. It's kind of just like peanut butter and jelly, where it's just a good fit. Him and his coaching staff and the players around him all have this good chemistry. And it also just kind of becomes one of those weird things where it's like, as a quarterback, you just go in and have like 2 good games, and now all of a sudden everyone has confidence behind you just because you had those 2 games. But at the same time, then it becomes the kind of thing where you then get confidence in yourself because you had a couple good games and everyone thinks that you're good, and then you just start playing better and better and better. And we've seen Tannehill have good runs before, but I don't think we've ever seen him have a good of a run for this long before. His problem has always been consistency, but for the most part, consistency hasn't really been a problem. In his 7 starts this season, 6 of them he's had a passer rating over 109. So I don't think he's ever quite had a run like this, and here's another example of just what he's doing that's making this Tennessee Titans team so effective. It's going to be going up against a cover 3 zone, and it's going to be play action, and they have a receiver running right over there. Pretty basic play, you see it all the time in the NFL. Try to get the linebackers to move in, get out of position, throw it over the top of them, see if you can get a completion. However, after the ball is snapped, it's just not going to work out too well. The Colts play this one very well. As you see, there is a receiver who's right there, but Darius Leonard does a great job of reading this play, dropping back into coverage. I'm not sure if there's anybody better in the league at doing that than Darius Leonard. By the way, I think this is a total side note, but I think Leonard deserves some Defensive Player of the Year consideration. It's kind of wide open. There's a lot of guys you could give it to, but the guy has 5 sacks and 4 interceptions as a linebacker, and not, an edge rusher, but a linebacker who still has 5 sacks, 4 picks, and also 92 combined tackles. He's having a monster year. So in this situation, You don't try Darius Leonard, you just throw the ball away. It's a smart thing to do. However, it's not the gutsy thing to do. Watch how he just fires it anyways, puts it through that mailbox that there was a very small window he was able to fit it through, and they get the completion. I mean, this guy is just completely fearless, but you know what? He's playing at a high level. I mean, I really think that his talent is unreal. I've said this before. His talent is at the same level as any guy in the league outside of maybe Mahomes and Rodgers. I think anybody else, you could put him up there just in terms of physical tools. His intelligence has always been the downside, but you know what? He's getting older, he's getting smarter, and well, yes, clearly he's still not as smart as Tom Brady. The fact that he can kind of get guys open a little bit more and he's still so talented, that's what's making him effective in Tennessee. He's never going to blow you away by his high football IQ, but he can make some solid plays. Like this one's another one. It's a cover 2 zone, and that's the route concept designed to beat zone actually, where since there is a receiver who's going to be running deep in that zone on the top half of the screen, that should push the opposing player further deep as well. Then he can simply hit Adam Humphries, who'll be running underneath, and that can be how this play could work. And as you see, it's pretty much working out perfectly. I mean, the receiver who's up at the top half of the screen is doing a good job of pushing the Colt defender further deep. This now means that Humphries, when he cuts to the sideline, could get open. Yes, there is another Colt in the area who could read this play and try to cut it off, but that's a tough play to make. So if you look at Tannehill, he's already in the throwing motion. He's already just ready to go. He fires one there, Humphries makes the catch, and actually does a great job of fighting to get into the end zone for a touchdown. That's not going to happen every time as a quarterback, but it will happen sometimes, and what will pretty much always happen on that type of play is you'll gain 7 to 8 yards. So really just, again, it's the quick decision-making Tannehill has and the fearless decision-making he has that's really putting him in a good spot and putting the Titans in a good spot. It has gotten him in trouble in the past. It could happen again this season, but so far it's working out, so there's really no reason to criticize him until it stops working out. Like again, this play, another perfect example. Cover 4 zone, that's the route he wants to hit. And once this ball is snapped, what you will notice is that the second his receiver is starting to get open, right now is when he's starting to get open, you look at Tannehill, he's in the throwing motion. There's no hesitation with him. He fires one there, they're able to make the catch, and it's another first down. That's just kind of what he's doing. He's not hesitating. He's playing smart, good football, and it's really working out for him and the Titans. It's what you have to do as a quarterback. You have to play fearless. You can't be afraid of what could go wrong, could certain things happen. You got to play fearless. You got to be willing to, take some chances, and that is totally what Tannehill is doing. He's totally okay with taking a chance here and there, and it's been working because he is a very talented player, and because Titans are a good team and they can make some plays. One last play I liked was this one where it's going to be a cover 1 hole, and there is a receiver running that route right there, which on paper isn't the route that could get too open. I mean, cover 1 hole, there's going to be a safety deep, so it's not going to get open right away, but maybe later on in the route it could potentially get open. So Tannehill is going to fake a handoff, roll out to the bottom half of the screen, which was designed, and as you see now deep downfield, this play is actually working out a little bit better than expected. The safety who was deep went down to the bottom half of the screen, meaning that now there's a one-on-one matchup there. And also, he does have a step on his assigned man, but just one step. This is definitely not a wide open window, but this is the shot that Tannehill should take, and this is the shot that Tannehill is going to take. He fires one deep downfield, and it's able to be a completion for a touchdown. So again, just another tremendous play. And that's kind of what Tannehill has been doing. He's been taking chances. In fairness, they haven't all worked out, but a good percentage of them have for sure. And I think that's just what is making this Tennessee Titans team really work. It's Tannehill is not afraid to take chances over the middle of the field or deep. And then because he's throwing the ball so effectively in those areas, even if it leads to a mistake or two, it also opens up the running game, which allows Derrick Henry to now gain even more yards. And I think that's a huge reason why Henry has been playing at such an elite level this year. Personally, I think the Titans are going to win the AFC South. I've been betting on them the past couple of weeks just because they keep just barely being favorites or even not being favorites against teams that are definitely not as good as them. So they're definitely one of those teams that I think is a very talented team that people are sleeping on. I predicted Tennessee to win their division over the Texans. I still think that's going to be the case, but who really knows? Either way, it's been very interesting. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks for watching.